اللي لفت نظري في المشروع صحيح من الأشياء اللي كتير لقيتها مهمة اللي هي مصدر الإلهام للمصمم، اللي هو المعبد البوذي القديم أو أطلال المعبد البوذي، وكيف كان هذا مصدر بالنسبة له للحل، وكيف إنه هاي الأطلال اللي اطلع عليها المهندس المعماري ألهمته الحل المناسب لهذا المشروع. يعني تعلمت كيف إنه ممكن نحن بالنظر إلى الأطلال والآثار نستخرج حكمة بالتعامل مع الأرض، لأنه هو مشروع مع الأرض مشروعه حقيقة. فيبدو أنه شاف أشياء كتير مهمة في هاي المعبد واستلهم منها حلول فيها علاقة مع الأرض. فهاي قضية كتير مهمة، كيف ننظر إلى أثارنا، كيف ننظر إلى تجربة الإنسان عبر التاريخ، وكيف ممكن تكون إنها مصدر لأنه نخرج بحلول إبداعية وجديدة. إضافة إلى ذلك طبعاً هو المشروع محطوط في الأرض، أو هو عمل حفرة ونزل المشروع فيها، فهو أنا بسميه مختبئ في الأرض، هيك بعتبره كأنه خباه في الأرض. وهون كمان بهذا الحل والأسقف الخضراء المندمجة بالجوار ما كان هناك النزعة الاستعراضية للمعماري إنه يظهر قدراته التشكيلية والكتل، لا بالعكس كان مشروع متناسب مع عنوانه الشعبي والخدمة الاجتماعية. هاي قضية كتير ممكن إنه إحنا نتعلم منها، إضافة طبعاً للقيم المناخية وتفكيك اللي عامله بين المسقوف والمكشوف وحركة الهواء إلى آخره. هاي قضية جميلة وأعطته البعد الإنساني للمشروع، وطريقة تخطيطه اللي هي غير خاضعة لنسق هندسي صارم. ما بنقرأ شبكة هندسية صارمة، لا هو شوي مرتاح في الموقع بتكسيراته. كمان هذا الغموض بيعطي شيء من التشويق لمرتادي المشروع، في اكتشاف، في مخبى، في ظاهر. يعني هاي قضية حلوة حقيقة كتير وإنسانية. يعني هاي الأشياء الأساسية اللي لفتت نظري. طبعاً استعمال المواد المحلية أكيد، بس بالمقابل الإيجابية إنه كونه مختبئ في الأرض وفي حفرة برأيي رح تحد من التوسع المستقبلي. في هاي المشاريع الخيرية الاجتماعية دايماً متغيرة البرامج، من خبرتي في مشاريع مشابهة دايماً بدهم يضيفوا بدهم يغيروا. هلأ النسق اللي مصمم عليه المشروع كأنه نهائي، عم يعطي الحل النهائي.
مبنى معهد عصام فارس، الموقع تبعه في حرم جامعة الأمريكية ببيروت. موقع بالحقيقة مميز، بيطل على حرم الجامعة وبيطل على البحر المتوسط وعلى جبل لبنان. السؤال اللي بيطرح نفسه والتحدي برأيي بهذا المشروع، كيف نقدر نتعامل مع المكان اللي هو موجود فيه؟ هل نتماشى مع البيئة المبنية ونتحاكى معها أو نتناقض معها؟ كيف نقدر نبني المستقبل في الماضي لمبنى معني بتطوير سياسات مستقبلية وبمكان فيه كتير من التاريخ والحضارة والعراقة؟ من هون برأيي لابد إنه معمارية مثل زها حديد تدخل على الخط، لأنه معروف عنها الجرأة، معروف عنها الحسم، معروف عنها إنها إنسانة عندها نظرة مستقبلية، وبتآمن إنه ما بيصير في تطوير أو نمو بدون التجديد. كان بقدر ترى المبنى يكون بتماشى مع المحيط اللي هو فيه بطريقة مباشرة، بس إجت زها وطرحت تصميم جريء بفرض حاله في المحيط بطريقته، بتحدى ما هو سائد ومسلم به، وبالتالي اجت بمبنى أو منتج مختلف، وبرأيي صار رمز للابتكار والتجديد تماماً مثل معهد عصام فارس اللي معني بتطوير سياسات مستقبلية هدفها إنها تساعدنا إنه كيف نتعامل مع المستقبل، وبالتالي توصلنا لحياة أفضل. وبنظري إنه المؤسسة لما اختارت زها حديد اختارتها لهذا السبب. هذا المشروع خلق جدل كبير، البعض شافوا إنه هذا المشروع ممكن يكون متعارض مع المحيط تبعه، وشافوا إنه يمكن كبير أو ثقيل نوعاً ما. أنا زرت الموقع وشفت هذا عكس تماماً. اللي أنا شفته إنه في جدل إيجابي بين المبنى وبين المحيط تبعه. شفت في ديناميكية مرهفة، بتحسه خفيف وسهل أحياناً، وبتحسه ثقيل ومتزن أحياناً أخرى، مصمت من الخارج وشفاف وسلس من الداخل. طريقة ما اتفاعل مع الشجر بحيث أنه أصبح الأشجار كأنها جزء من النسيج المعماري. وأجمل ما في المبنى برأيي هو كيف باسمه أو بيرتفع عن الأرض عشان يدخل هالساحة البيضاوية من خلال المبنى. اللي بتجمعوا فيه الطلاب والناس العاملين في الجامعة، وبرأيي بيصبح نافذة حتى على الجامعة وعلى البحر المتوسط. مشروع مثل هذا ومبنى مثل هذا بالتأكيد هو عبارة عن بحفز التفكير، التساؤل، الابتكار والتجديد.
مشروع جسر الطبيعة بطهران اللي فاز مؤخراً بجائزة الآغا للعمارة مشروع مميز جداً. طبعاً هو مشروع بربط بين منتزهين فوق وادي وأيضاً طريق سريع في مدينة طهران، وأنا بعتقد أنه مشروع مميز لعدة نواحي. طبعاً في البداية الرؤية المميزة تبعت المعماري والفريق اللي اشتغل على المشروع في إعادة النظر في البنية التحتية. طبعاً البنية التحتية ممثلة بجسور، بوديان، بطرق سريعة، بمكبات نفايات وغيرها. كيف هذا الموضوع عادة اللي ما بتعامل فيه المعماري صار موضوع مهم جداً بالنسبة لهذا الفريق، كيف إعادة طرح البرنامج تبع المشروع بحيث أنه انتقل من برنامج تقني لجسر بوصل بين نقطتين إلى تكوين فراغ عام مميز، حيز عام نشط جدا، بؤر حضرية في المدينة، يعتبر الآن من أهم الفراغات الحضرية في مدينة طهران. طبعا بالإضافة لذلك المشروع مميز جدا لأنه عرف كيف يكسر الحواجز بين الممارسات والمجالات المختلفة للمعرفة، زي مثلا العمارة أو تصميم البيئات الطبيعية أو الهندسة المدنية وتصميمات الإنشائية أو التكنولوجيا بشكل عام. فالربط الفعلي لهاي الممارسات مع بعضها لعبت دور كتير كبير في تفعيل التكنولوجيا وخلق هاي البيئات الحضرية الناجحة اللي هي عم تنظر نظرة مختلفة كيف ممكن البيئة الحضرية في المدن تتفاعل مع البيئات الطبيعية أيضاً، ويصير دور البيئات الطبيعية في تكوين المدينة مميز جداً، وأيضاً في خلق هاي الفراغات العامة. فبشكل مميز إحنا منشوف هذا المشروع عم بيعيد تعريف العمارة وممارسة العمارة مرة تانية. فكيف هاي الأماكن اللي ممكن تكون منسية في المدينة، أماكن صناعية سابقة، بنية تحتية، جسور، أنهر وغيرها، عم يعاد التفكير فيها مرة تانية بحيث أنها تكون أماكن مميزة في المدينة. هذا التوجه اللي في آخر تقريباً 20 سنة يسمى Landscape Urbanism عم بيكون له دور كتير فعال في إعادة تشكيل المدينة في القرن 21. طبعاً المشروع تأثر بمشاريع سابقة كثيرة، تأثر بالإرث الحضاري اللي موجود في إيران من ناحية تصميم الجسور المشاة في أصفهان مثلاً، وتأثر أيضاً في مشاريع مختلفة معاصرة زي مشروع الهاي لاين في نيويورك اللي أيضاً بيعيد التفكير بالبنية التحتية بشكل عام. وبحب أضيف إنه إذا إحنا تفرجنا على مشاريع اللي فازت في جائزة الآغا العريقة مؤخراً، بنقدر نلمس بشكل واضح إعادة تعريف العمارة اللي أنا عم بحاول أكد عليه. فإذا مثلاً قارنا هذا المشروع في مشروع آخر فاز مؤخراً اللي هو وادي حنيفة بجانب الرياض بالسعودية، اللي هو كان عبارة عن وادي، طبعاً وادي نهر، كيف أيضاً إعادة تفكير في هاي البيئات في خلق الفراغات النشطة في المدينة، وبشكل عام إعادة التفكير بشكل نقدي في الطرح المعماري اللي ممكن الفريق المعماري أو المعماري بنفسه يكون له تأثير كتير كبير في إعادة التفكير في هاي المشاريع.
المشروع هو عبارة عن مكتبة ومركز فنون للأطفال في أحد الأحياء القديمة في مدينة بيجين بالصين. مشروع صغير جداً ويمكن حجمه بيعكس طبيعة موقعه، فهو موجود بفناء داخلي لأحد منازل الهوتون اللي هي عبارة عن مجموعة من المنازل بأفنية داخلية مترابطة خلال شبكة من الطرق والممرات تعكس نمط البناء التقليدي في بيجين. للأسف هذه الأحياء عم بيتم إزالتها تدريجياً نتيجة الانفجار العمراني، ولكن من مميزات المشروع إنه بيخرج عن المسار المتبع والمنتشر في الصين اللي بيهدم الموجود لإتاحة مشاريع ضخمة هدفها تجاري بحت. في هذا المشروع تم التركيز على الجانب الإنساني والاجتماعي، وتم انتقاء برنامج وظيفي بتناسب مع الواقع الاجتماعي والحضري والمعماري، ولكن بنفس الوقت بيطورهم بيبني عليهم. فللمشروع جانب مهم بيعطي حيز، هذا الحيز يستخدم لدعم الترابط الاجتماعي والأسري في الحي. كمان هذا المشروع بتجنب الوقوع في فخ تحويل المباني التاريخية لمتاحف خالية من الاستعمال، وبتجنب تحنيطها معمارياً في حقبة تاريخية معينة بعيدة عن العنصر الإنساني واحتياجاته. بالتالي هذا بيوضح أن التجديد ما بيتنافى مع فكرة الحفاظ على النسيج الثقافي والتراثي، والتجديد مش دائماً مربوط بأرباح مادية، والتجديد والتغيير ممكن يتم بدون أي تدمير. عناصر المشروع المعمارية تم دراستها بدقة، وهي بتشكل وحدة مترابطة بتركز على أهمية التفاصيل. التفاصيل هاي منفذة بمواد وتقنيات بسيطة بتتماشى مع محيطها، والتصميم والتنفيذ فيهم درجة عالية من الحساسية اللي بتعطي المشروع شعور بالأهمية بالرغم من وجوده في مكان متواضع وبالرغم من صغر حجمه.
مشروع سوبر كيلن كفراغ حضري وحديقة عامة في كوبنهاغن تميز بفكرة التعددية والتعامل مع دمج المجتمعات المحيطة، بحيث تنبذ العنف والمظاهر السلبية اللي ارتبطت بالفئة المهمشة من المهاجرين من أكثر من 90 دولة. لقد كان للتصميم الذي فاز بتلك المسابقة ولاحقاً تم تنفيذه منصة لأفكار إبداعية وكذلك لمشاركة شعبية لرفع حس المسؤولية والانتماء لذلك المكان من خلال تبني تقسيم المنطقة إلى 3 فراغات رئيسية: الساحة الحمراء، وتلك الساحة أخذت مساحة لونية من درجات الأحمر وارتفعت إلى واجهات المباني، وتبنت كذلك بعض البرامج الرياضية والثقافية. من ذلك الساحة واللون الأحمر والمساحة اللونية يمكن الانتقال إلى الساحة السوداء أو السوق عبارة عن منصة من المقتنيات التي تم اختيارها من المجتمعات المحلية بطريقة تشاركية، وفيها مساحات من الخطوط البيضاء تحتضن تلك المقتنيات. إن الدالة الثقافية لتلك المقتنيات تساهم في زيادة الحس بالمسؤولية والانتماء لذلك المكان. بالمقابل فإن الزائر أو المجتمعات الأخرى المحيطة عندما ترى تلك المقتنيات تكون هناك لها عبرة جديدة، ممكن ترفيهية أو تسلية، وبالتالي مع الوقت تصبح هناك ألفة. وهذا مثال لدمج المجتمعات التي تزور تلك الساحة. إن الصبغة العامة لهذا المكان فيه مساحة جمالية تساهم في خلق بيئة جميلة، فالمجتمع والحوار الجميل يحتاج لمثل هذه الجماليات أيضاً. فنرى في مثل هذا المشروع تميز من حيث مبادرة في مجتمع أوروبي لدمج مجتمعات من المهاجرين بطريقة إبداعية جديدة، ويمكن أن يكون هناك لنا دروس أخرى لمناطقنا في من حيث التعامل مع الساحات والفراغات الحضرية.
بهذا المشروع مثل بيت الرؤوف بنشوف أنه في تركيز كبير على التجريد في العمارة، واللي هو علاقة مع العمارة الحديثة بمعطياتها الأساسية. عندنا تركيز كبير على الأشكال الهندسية، علاقة بين المربع الخارجي مع الدائرة مع المربع الداخلي، وكيف أنه الفراغ بين المربع والدائرة هو اللي بيعطينا الإضاءة للداخل الفراغ واللي ما فيش فيه ولا شباك من برا. وهذا فراغ من خلال التجريد والتركيز على المواد، الطوب المبني بطريقة تعطينا كمان زخرفة بخشونة المبنى نفسه اللي بيطلع بعلاقته مع الضوء الساقط عليه. وهذا المبنى بكل التجريدية هاي تاعته يذكرني مشروع مسجد شرف الدين الفائز بجائزة الآغا خان ب 1983 والمبني بالبوسنة. ولكن بهداك المبنى رغم التجريدية والبساطة اللي المشتركة بين الاثنين بنشوف في العناصر الرمزية التاريخية من المأذنة والمنبر والمحراب والميضأة، واللي مش موجودة هون لأنه هون في عندنا تجريد كامل إلها مع الحاجة إلها بعلاقة معينة، لأنه عم نشوف أنه المعمارية بتقول أنها بالإضافة الجديدة للمشروع رح ترجع تعمل مأذنة للمسجد بناء على طلب المجتمع المحلي، واللي بتعطينا دلالة أساسية على أهمية الرمز وعلاقة الإنسان بقراءته للأشكال المعمارية من خلال الرموز التاريخية وعلاقتها المهمة. مع أنه المعمارية تتبع الأسلوب التجريدي في هذا المبنى، وشفنا ما في إشي تقريبا من هالعلاقات الرمزية التاريخية. مع ذلك لما اجت تعمل الإضاءة بالسقف عملتها عبارة عن ثقوب صغيرة بتمثل النجوم بالسماء على شكل دائرة، واللي هي يعني قبة السماوية اللي رجعنا فيها برمزية القبة التاريخية بالعمارة الإسلامية.
عندنا فاروق الدرخشاني هو مدير جائزة الآغا خان العمارة، وزائر دائم للأردن من خلال 20 سنة الماضية. هو يعني دائم الزيارة للبلد عندنا. وفي عندنا برضه عضو اللجنة التوجيهية لجائزة الآغا خان الدكتور محمد الأسد، برضه طبعا مدير مركز دراسات البيئة المبنية، وجه مألوف في المجال المعماري والحضري في بلدنا. أنا راح أشارك معهم طبعا في اللقاء. الفيلم زي ما شفتوه كان باللغة العربية، إحنا راح نكمل لقائنا باللغة الإنجليزية عشان في عنا الضيف من برا. ونتمنى أنكم كلكم اليوم راح يكون برضو في مساحة لمشاركة الجمهور بالأسئلة في نهاية لقائنا، فحضروا أسئلتكم، وبرضه في فرصة للتفاعل برضه مع المهندسين اللي ظهروا بالفيلم. بدي أبدأ مع الدكتور محمد الأسد يعطينا فكرة عن الفيلم وليش انعمل هذا الفيلم وشو فكرته كانت، أوكي، وبعدين نبدأ بالنقاش تبعنا.
شكرا أحمد. بدي أحول بالإنجليزي هلا. We're going to switch to English now. Thank you all for coming first of all. The Agha Khan Award was founded in 1980. And each cycle lasts for around 3 years. So in 2016, we just finished the 13th cycle of the award. During the 12th cycle in 2013, Farrokh came up with an interesting idea. The award ceremony took place in Lisbon then, and he asked a few Portuguese architects, led by Álvaro Siza, to each comment on one of the projects that won the 2013 award. And his idea was that he wanted a certain discourse to develop in the local languages, in this case in Portuguese, and to connect the messages of the award to the interests and values and the concerns of architects in a specific country. This went very well, actually. And so we felt, and Farrokh felt, that for the 2016, let's repeat the same thing for the second time. The award ceremony this time took place in Abu Dhabi, so the language was Arabic. And so we thought, why don't we ask 6 architects from the Arab world to talk about the 6 winning projects. So basically, we actually decided to ask 6 Jordanian architects to talk about the winning projects. And the whole idea is each one of them really looks at it from the point of view of someone who is based in Jordan, who's a Jordanian, and who is practicing in Jordan. So I think we're very lucky. This is the second time that this exercise has been carried out, and we hope that it would create a certain discourse that emphasizes, I think, or links the concerns we have in Jordan with the issues that the award is addressing.
Thank you, Mohammed. Farrokh, I introduced you in Arabic and I said that you are a frequent visitor to Jordan for the last 20 years and you are very familiar with our architectural scene, so we welcome you again here in Jordan, Amman, in Amman Design Week, and I think this is wonderful to have this architectural aspect in Amman Design Week. I think it's a very enriching aspect of this week, so welcome again to Jordan. And I want to direct my first, I'm going to play a little bit of a moderator who talks a little bit too much. Yeah, it's working. Before we maybe approach the award from a Jordanian perspective, as we have seen in the film, and we can expand that in our discussion, I am interested to know, how do the winning projects reflect the evolving philosophy of the award in the last 10 years. I am familiar with the book that you have published. By the way, the book about these projects and also the other nominated projects is available in our gift shop near the hangar. It's called Architecture and Plurality. Did I say that correct? Yeah. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. I also commend the quality of the footage that was provided also for this film, because it gives a very good idea about the project. So, we talk. The award has evolved, okay, and geographically and conceptually, I think. So, how do these 6 projects that have won in 2016? How do they translate, in your opinion, your evolving philosophy of the award? And if I may ask also a second question, and you can choose maybe to answer both at the same time. What is the relevancy of these awards in an age of digital media where we are flooded through Instagram and Facebook and websites, okay, by architectural images and other awards and just this flood of information? Because I can remember in the mid-90s when I was an architectural student, we really used to treasure those issues of Me'mar magazine, okay? Probably the younger people don't know what I'm talking about, okay? But this was an amazing magazine, and you can probably still find copies of it, and it's a collector's item now, okay? So, but that was our only source. I mean, these magazines, like Me'mar and other magazines, were our only source of knowledge about what's happening in the world. So, with this new changing media landscape and the changing cultural landscape of the world, and also your evolving philosophy, how do you relate that to the projects that have won?
Thanks, Ahmad. The first thing is, the problem is that this evolving has not been, I've coming to Jordan for so many years, but my Arabic has been, I'm just always an Ajami. That's the big problem. It's very important is that since the creation of the award, the system was established, which is we have a steering committee members, who are a group of people who are intellectuals, practitioners and intellectuals, who are leading the award, which Mohammad is a member, has been a member for a number of cycles. And then we have an independent jury. And also we have got a team experts who go and see the projects. Now, what this has made, this system, because these are revolving, these people are changing all the time, they are reflecting the time of where they are. It's very important because to look at one thing. Usually in architecture and architecture discourses, we are looking at projects, new ideas, and usually between the new ideas which comes in architecture and when they are built, there's some years which goes. For example, especially here, you're witnessing so many projects in Amman who has been being built for 20 years even. So when it's finished, it's not anymore a matter of today. But there is something very important. which projects are projects which, after they've been completed, they answer to the problems of the day. And not all projects do that, but some projects do. So this is what we look at the buildings. So architecture is not what you see in a series of photographs and a series of drawings. This is not really the architecture. This is one very small view of architecture. That's why that, as you were saying, one of the other things that architecture is the building that you live in. Architecture has got a building during the history and time has got many different lives. And it's interesting that one of the mediums that you can understand architecture is through the films. That's why, as you said, the films were important. And not on the films, if you're interested, we have got, for the past 10 years, we're making films on all the projects which are shortlisted. I just give a small description. We have got something like 400, 300, 400, sometimes even more projects which are nominated. The jury goes through these few hundred projects, 300-400 projects. They select 20 projects, as Mohammad was saying. That then these 20 projects, they go and they are visited by experts. So these shortlisted projects are really the finalists, let's call them. All of them have got a very important merit. And then the jury chooses a few of them, 5, 6, to give an award. But still, the other 13 projects which have not won an award are of importance because we publish all of them. What happens is that by publishing in the book and also having exhibitions around it and discussions, we are looking at a range of buildings in different parts of the world that all of them together are showing the reality, what we are today. These are the best examples of what we call them the contemporary architecture. It's interesting that we've been looking backwards now and looking at, we've completed 13 cycles, and we have had 116 projects has won an award. Now looking back at these projects, plus the shortlisted projects, it shows the contemporary history of contemporary architecture of the Muslim societies. And it's a reflection. If you don't have exceptional projects, that means that these parts of the world has not been able to do those exceptional projects. Now, just a small addition to what you said, the world has changed. When the award was created in 1977, which the first awards were given in 1980, the world was very different to today. When we're talking about Muslim societies, usually they were almost in the same geographical areas. You can see these are the countries which Muslims are. All my Arab friends, they think that the majority of the Muslims are Arabs, but the majority, there are a very small number of Muslims. I mean, Indonesia has got 150 million, and India, which has got 150 million Muslims only in India, which is one of the biggest Muslim countries. So, but now the world has changed. Today, you've got Muslim communities living everywhere. So as you have seen, in the two projects that they were amongst the winners, you've got in Copenhagen and one in China. The difference is the Chinese is different. That neighborhood of Beijing, which this project is located, is the Muslim neighborhood of Beijing. Just 30 meters from this building, this Hutong, there is one of the oldest mosques of Beijing. And this mosque is not the people who are coming from the Muslim parts, Xinjiang to Beijing. These are people who are Muslims from Beijing for the past 1,000 years. But at the same time, the rest of the world is changing. And that is very important, how we can address these aspirations. Because the people who are living, especially the second generation in Europe, they are Europeans in a way. At the same time, they are Muslims. So that is how we're trying to do is that how we can address them.
Thank you. I'd like to move it to the local perspective. Jordan has, Jordanian architects have won the Aga Khan Award twice, right? And it's interesting that some people may think that this is a small number, but if you think about our country, we are a small country, we are a small market. So it is actually quite remarkable that Jordan has won this award twice. It's also, of course, this year there are or last year there were 2 projects from Bangladesh. Okay, and you note in the book that this is a very rare occurrence, or as it was described as a twist of events. But okay, so Jordan has a history with the award. We have won Jordanian architects have won the award. When we look at these types of projects, I mean, and we see a bridge that has won, okay, and we see a very small project that has won, and also bigger. I know that the award has been concerning itself with infrastructure, industrialization, and where it was maybe in the past more about restoration and so on. So the award has evolved. So this is a direction. This gives us a direction. It points into certain areas of development. How is that relevant for our architectural scene, Mohammad? What are the kinds of things that Jordanian architects should be, looking at, and what can we learn as Jordanian architects from these winning projects and that direction of the award, where the award is pointing us to?
Well, I think the award has always been viewed, or it has emphasized that its messages are universal. The award is not concerned with one country or one region, but really with things that are very universal to people all over the world. So if you look at, let's say, any of these projects, look at, for example, the first one, the Friendship Center. It deals with issues that are of considerable concern for us. One of them is community development. It's a community development project that is concerned with raising the quality of life and providing necessary services to the people there. It's concerned with rural development. And we have considerable debate in Jordan about the concentration in Amman and the idea that parts outside Amman are often not given enough attention. We also have in that project, for example, a concern about dealing with context, basically the whole topographical context as well as climatic issues, and also how you can use traditional materials, in this case brick, in a way that is very contemporary and that is architectural. And I can probably go through every one of them and make similar.
I mean, when I saw the project of the bridge in Tehran, I was wondering, imagine if the Abdoun Bridge, okay, was designed in such a way, instead of just being a car bridge, being a pedestrian connection between the War Abdoun and the War Rabi'. And to allow people to move, and actually the movement is forbidden now, and actually people kill themselves by, unfortunately.
Go there to kill themselves rather than to walk.
Which is very unfortunate. Okay, but I mean, again, that one other area is where we see the educational projects, and I think educational projects are in developing communities very important. We were talking last night about the state of our schools. Okay, and why is it that one of the biggest buildings in every Jordanian village is a school that has been designed in a cookie-cutter manner and almost like a military building or even like a prison? So, and I know that the award also doesn't just celebrate architects; it celebrates also policymakers and celebrates builders and so on. But when we zoom in on such either urban solutions like bridges, okay, or rural development, and especially by the maybe when we talk to the younger generation of architects, how can we have such breakthroughs? What is the process that is needed to have these architectural breakthroughs, to think of bridges as really attractive and engaging urban spaces, and to rethink our schools and so on?
Well, actually, I just want to add, in 2013, I think, the bridge in Rabat, there's another bridge that won the award, and what is interesting about it is that it had cars, it had a tramway, public transportation, it had bicycle lanes, and it had pedestrian pathways. So the award has been emphasizing the whole idea of infrastructure and how we can really look at it in a creative way. One other thing that is very important, and the award has always been looking at, is the role of decision makers, I think. We sometimes undermine that or forget that. We always think that the architect does everything, but actually if you don't have an open-minded, thoughtful decision maker, then that will not happen. And in fact, when the award is given, it's actually celebrating the architect, the decision maker or the patron, as well as sometimes even some of the users, actually. So this is very important. I think we need to engage decision makers in a way to make them think differently about this. So a bridge such as Abdun, I think we are losing a tremendous opportunity by limiting it only to cars, even though this could be a wonderful, actually, pedestrian passageway that connects two extremely important parts of Amman.
And creates new views of the city, I mean, and that you cannot appreciate from a fast-moving car.
And also, I think, to build on what Rami said, it becomes not a place that connects 2 points, it becomes a destination. And this is what I think the Tabiat Bridge has become. Rather than connecting 2 parks, it's actually become as important a destination as each of the 2 parks.
I'd like to ask about the relationship with I mean, I talked about my younger days when I was studying architecture. How are you connecting with younger audiences these days with all this information, all this media? I mean, again, the footage is wonderful, and video is a wonderful tool to transfer, and this was not possible before. Okay, so this is معمار to the power of 3 in a way.
Well, the world, as again we're saying that but you're very young. When I was a student, the only thing we had in the schools of architecture is some journals which are coming, and these journals usually were just coming from somewhere else in the world, and if there was something local, could never compete with those journals. That's why that maybe in the minds of a lot of students was that what we're doing in our countries are not as good as what's happening on the other side of the world, because what is representative, which are the journals, are not as good. This is why the Mimar, when it came, this was a journal, Mimar, which was started in 1980, but what the idea was to have the highest standard of journalism in it. And that's why everybody was very proud of it, because they were saying that what they want to see from their part of the world is as good as the other ones. Now, this has totally changed. Today, with the social media, with the internet, with all these ways of communication, I don't think anyone anywhere in the world has got this problem that my voice cannot be heard. This is something which is, I think, the most important contribution of the West to the other parts of the world. We have, but at the same time, we are at a state that there's too much information, and you cannot differentiate between what is correct, what is not correct. So, as we hear these days, fake news is reality. Sometimes it is not fake because it's too much and you do not understand what is what. However, we have thought that that's why we've gone to films, that films are the ways that it communicates. Now, as we started some years ago in 2007, the BBC became very interested in these awards. They made a series of films, and according to the BBC, over 900 million people in the world have watched this. Now, if 900 million people watch a program on architecture, how better can you communicate architecture? Because one of the roles of the architects today is how to communicate. And you have to speak louder and louder because someone else is screaming. I mean, this is the reality. But what are the tools? But if it is too much, maybe it will be overacting. Now, we have tried by making available all the films that we make on the projects on YouTube and applications for apps and etc. We're trying hard. We've got Facebook page, which I'm not allowed. My daughter's never allowed me to have a Facebook page, so I don't know what that means. But for you who know what that means, and as probably it's important, we've got hundreds of thousands. 100,000 and whatever followers, etc., which is very interesting, because there is an interest in people. But at the same time, we should not forget that we give awards every 3 years. We're not like a journal that every day comes and shows 5 wonderful projects to you, like Arch Daily, etc. But still, what is important is that we can see that this is these are the best ones that you can have, and one can discuss about them.
So I think in today's fast-moving world, okay, I think people are reappreciating, like the slow food movement, yeah. Okay, I think having that 3-year cycle slows down things, okay, because we still live in the physical world, and we still need to see how these buildings evolve over time and how the users use them. Okay, so this is the Aga Khan Award is an award for projects that are built and that are actually used, and you have these people going all over the world actually testing this. Okay, so I mean, this is not something that is like a blog post just with cool images. So I mean, it's, I think, important to highlight the difference between these two things. We need to leave enough time for the audience. How are we doing? Where are the organizers? How are we doing with time? We have the organizer here. 3 minutes of talking and then open to the audience. Okay. Now, should we open for questions? Yeah. So let's give all the time for the audience. We have the top organizer here, Arbir Saiqali, which will keep us on time. And so let's start.
Okay. So you've put a lot of emphasis on the relative, like the building and architecture relative to context, the present context, whether it's spatially or temporally, like today. You've emphasized a lot on the relevance of work today. And I was wondering, like, okay, but buildings outlast the span of a typical human, and future generations are going to have to deal with this building or architecture in the future. And my brain clicked with the Zaha Hadid work, the one we saw in the film. And I'm wondering, like, maybe 200 years from today, how are students going to view this work? Are they going to view it as something that is completely alien to the campus, for example? Or do you think they'll interact with it with acceptance? So maybe my question is, how does architecture shape the behavior of people today and in the future, and how relevant is it to future generations?
The example of the AUB is a very good example what you're just mentioning. Just imagine, because this is this famous oval that everybody is around goes in Beirut. When those other 3 buildings were built, they did not belong to Beirut. There was a copy of these buildings which were in America, a campus in America looked like, and they just brought something very alien there. The Zaha Hadid building, that sort of language, has got much more to do with the aspirations of the Beirutis today. I mean, that we should not forget. And that is, I think, each of the architects, they have to give what is the best of their time. And if they're not, because what they're doing, you're making a building for a number of years. One of the other things, which is this is my personal point of view, it's not my organization, is that I don't know why all of a sudden, in the modern history of architecture, architects think that the buildings, when they build something, this is a monument forever. Every single person, every single architect thinks that their building is a monument forever and should be kept and nobody should touch it. I mean, because all the things we've had in our societies, every building has been added to, it's been used, I mean, this is something, and then demolished. Now, sometimes we are crying for buildings to be demolished. It's fine, we should not demolish everything, but still, it doesn't mean that every single thing should be kept as well. So that's why that one has to see with the time, because right now there is a big movement in Europe because you don't have enough space. And technology allows you're building 2, 3, 4, 5 stories on the top of the buildings which exist. This will totally change a lot of European cities' image, and because even in places which have been always controlled. So these are the realities, and one has to accept that we have to adapt the reality. But the only thing is that make sure the reality is not, because each of our societies got two sides, the good side and bad side. Sometimes because some people are more rich, they've got more money, they want to show off, they bring the worst part of the society, and that becomes like a sore in the people's eyes.
I have 2 questions. The first one, I'd just like to hear your feedback about Ammar Khammash shortlisted building, the Rangers Academy. And the second question is, I would like to hear your opinion or the reason why John Novell's building in Qatar was shortlisted as well as, I don't know, I think it kind of contradicts the vision of the award in general, but I don't know, I'd just like to hear your opinion on that matter.
Now, just to come back to what you call the shortlisted projects, those 19, this cycle 19 projects. These 19 projects, the jury tries to find projects which are addressing all different aspects of the built environment today. Skyscrapers are one of the realities. We cannot condemn that, you know, if some people don't like skyscrapers, no skyscrapers should be built. They were built every day. The only thing is that the ones which are better than the other ones, which ones are more representative and of what is the truth. Jean Nouvel's tower in Doha is one of the better examples that you can see in that part of the world. So that was one of the reasons, because also it's got it's kind of uses a language, it's like technology which is used, they're all very advanced. The project, the Ammar's project in Ajloun was a very important project. It was there amongst the projects, but when it comes, the jury comes, I mean, in fact, they have chosen the 19 projects as finalists. Now, when they give 6 projects, this is a kind of any jury goes, we make sure to put the pressure on the jury not to go and say, I want 10 projects. See, to come and see, you have to find the ones which are really have made a big difference in their society. They have a very strong message, and I think that all the 6 projects do represent a very important way that architecture should be seen today. The message so there's no way of that. It's not a matter of losers and winners. It's just a matter of that you have got some of them are more how you say, the jury feels that those have got a little bit more than the other projects. But in our publications and in our exhibitions, we show all of them.
May I add something? Actually, we forget that each cycle has a totally different jury. So there is no one way of looking at projects. And you have 9 people per jury. So you have a great deal of discussion. The 9, usually we make sure they represent the Islamic world. Some come from the West. Some are artists, some are historians. So it's a very diverse group. And it's not this one coherent group. The other very important thing, and we started that in 2010, before that, the winning projects were chosen and the shortlisted ones were sort of ignored. But we've always felt that the shortlisted projects are of very high quality. So since then, we've made sure that all of them are published equally. So really, it's not about that 6 made it and the others did not. All of them are excellent projects, but as Farrokh said, there is pressure on the jury to then select out of those 20 excellent projects, 6 that are even slightly more distinguished, and you cannot believe the kind of debate that takes place among the jury members in selecting the 6. So really, to me, all the 20 are actually winners in many ways. I have a question.
So you talked about how architecture has to strive to be timeless and cater for the different needs over time, but in a country, especially in a country like Jordan, it's no longer just meeting the needs of the local people, the local climate, or all of that. It's in a country like Jordan where there's a continuous influx of different refugees from different places all over the world, from different neighboring countries. I think it's no longer it can't be as timeless as architecture in other places where locals aren't the only locals anymore. You have to cater to the refugee community as well. So how do you think that architecture and the influx of refugees, especially in Jordan, can somehow be linked together or work together in a way to create timeless architecture that can cater to the different influx of refugees, especially with the with refugees coming in and going back out. So it's very, yeah.
Here in Jordan, we have got one of the projects we won an award, was the East Wahdad. It was in 1989. So it has been always the problem of the refugees, the problem of the displaced, concern for the award juries. And today we're talking a lot about refugees, but the refugees has been always in all over the world. The case has been. The scale was different. Today, before there were a smaller number of people displaced. Now they're in much bigger numbers. It's the same thing like this when Amman was created. Amman had how many? 20,000 people, 15,000 people, 2,000 people, and now you've got 4 million in a very, very short period of time. So this is refugees is a very important issue. We had in the previous cycle for the Palestinians again in Lebanon. There was another project which was one of the Nahad Barat, which was one of the projects. But what was important is, now here we come to the main point, which is no difference between the big projects for the refugees and the very small, tiny project which is in Beijing, is the community participation. How you bring the people into the design, planning, and making the concept of the project. That's the most important thing. I mean, if we can what we're trying to do is to explain to the decision makers that to have more respect for the community. The community participation, I think, is the most important thing today, more than it was before, because what's the difference between before? Historically, buildings took time to build, so the builders, those people who were builders, they were negotiating. They were talking to the neighbors, the other people. If someone wanted to make a house in a neighborhood, would certainly talk to the neighbors and ask how they think. It's not like today that, immediately in 1 year, someone sits somewhere, makes a design, makes it up, and doesn't care who's around them. So the community participation, I think, is what we need to explain to our decision makers and the people around us. And I think that's the most important message.
Okay, that's all that we have time for. I mean, I wish we could have more time to discuss, but there are a number of architects here which appeared in the film, and I hope that the conversation continues. And I hope you have a lot of fun in Amman Design Week today and the coming days in the talks here, performances, and the different exhibitions that we have. And thanks for the team here for supporting us. And I wish you had a good evening ومساء الخير ويعطيكم العافية.